Subscribe to Simply Bitcoin.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. You made it to another episode of the Meme Factory podcast. This is test stream number 47. And this evening, we are joined by Gary Leland of BitBlock Boom fame. Gary, could you give us a quick introduction of who you are and what you do with Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm known as the Bitcoin Boomer. I am mostly known for my conference I host every year. This is our 5th year for it. It's in Austin, Texas this year. It's called BitBlock Boom. Ooh. It's pretty much a Bitcoin maximalist conference. No shitcoinery allowed. No even talking about anything except for Bitcoin. It's pretty hardcore. And then, I started podcasting back in 2004. I'm in the Podcast Hall of Fame. That has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but we're on a podcast, so I thought I'd say that. I've been into Bitcoin quite a while now, and I like it. That's consumed my world very quickly. And I was pretty involved heavily in the podcasting world. I did a conference in that world called Podcast Movement, which is the biggest conference probably in the podcast world. I sold my share of that and moved into the Bitcoin world and got consumed, fell down the rabbit hole. And that's all I really do now is all day and all night long is Bitcoin stuff. So that's where I'm at.
Very cool. And BitBlock Boom, Bitcoin only conference. I have not yet attended, but I definitely want to make it there.
It's the end of this month, end of next month. It's less than 30 days away.
I know, but you're in Texas and I'm in Florida.
Yeah. Well, y'all got the big Bitcoin / shitcoin conference there.
Exactly. Shots fired.
Nice.
Well,
you can't have that big a conference without being
without having sponsors, right?
Yeah, being flexible.
So,
yes. I can't even have an exchange at my conference because they're all 99% of the business is shitcoins. So I can't even go for the big boys at my conference.
Right. So we suffer similarly from sponsorship. We're Bitcoin only podcast, and
nice segue, Greg.
Thank you. One thing we do a little bit differently is that our sponsors, the way we've been able to generate some money is that they request and require that we have our guests read the ad. So if
you know what it is,
yeah,
you should have warned me. Maybe someone I can't read. I don't believe in.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure there'll be no conflict of interest.
Could be Celsius or something. You're like sticking up here.
No, it's
BlockFi. It's a BlockFi.
Yeah. So if you could, I've sent you the ad copy to your DM. If you could take a look at that real quick and just rattle the sucker off, and we can get past this, it'd be fantastic.
I don't know if I'm a big believer in BlockFi, to be honest with you.
I was kidding, Gary.
I was trying to kindly say that.
No, don't be kind to hey, we're not going to be kind. You don't be kind to us. You call BlockFi what it is.
Yeah. I just can't go there. I mean, that's why I said it according to what it was. And when you said that, I was going, wow, they kind of consider that okay.
Huh? No, we don't.
They're okay to meme.
So, yes, that I would agree on. I'd look at the memes. So, where are we at? What are we doing? I'm not reading that, so let's move on.
You already read it?
No, I haven't read it. I figured if it was a BlockFi ad.
It's not a BlockFi ad.
Come on, Pedro. It's not.
It's not a BlockFi ad, Gary. I was kidding.
Oh. I'm not going to read all that shit. Way too much shit on there. You want to read all that. Gary, but I think it is funny.
I'm telling you, Preston Pitch.
I like the last sentence. The
Michael Saylor read his.
Did he really?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to read mine.
John Vallis did his.
Oh, they're better men than I am.
All right, Gary.
I think we're gonna have to take the L on this one, Greg.
I think this is.
I will read. I will read this part of it. Come on down to Gary Leland's We Land today. Wait, what in the hell is this? There's no Gary Leland's We Land. The Alzheimer's is really getting the best of me, because it might be. I mean, that's why I'll read that, because it might be.
All right.
Thank you.
Sorry if I screwed stuff up. You should have warned me about this. Dude.
No, that's part of the thing. You don't get warned.
Okay, well, that's fine.
It's part of the meme. It's part of the meme in the meme factory.
All right.
Surprise you.
I want to take responsibility for having mentioned BlockFi Gary and realizing that put you on
defense.
Well, you got to realize I don't know you guys from Adam.
Yeah,
and
totally understand.
I'm at the age where I really don't give a shit, but I was raised to give a shit, not to hurt people's feelings. So I walk a line there where I try not to hurt people's feelings, but deep down inside of me, I really don't care. But I really don't want to make people mad. So.
But you sound like the OG toxic maximalist, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, let's talk about hurting people's feelings. We're
not getting paid. Yay!
Yay!
Who are you going to get paid from? Leland?
Yeah, Leland. They pay our bills. Gary Leland's Leland.
It's all just a joke, Gary.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Who in the hell you get? I really don't have Alzheimer's. I mean, I'm just making.
We know.
I know. But I was going, yeah. He's saying we're not going to get paid. I'm going, the hell.
Yeah, we're not going to get paid.
Mickey Mouse wasn't going to pay you.
Well, yeah, it's Mickey Mouse's Wee House.
Okay,
right.
I know they weren't sending you damn money.
I mean, the people aren't going to hear about the teacups. They're not going to hear about the swing with the nurse pushing you. It's okay.
You don't want to mess with Disney. I do know that.
That's true.
They are tough. They don't
tough.
screw around. They come after you relentlessly, even for the little things.
They watch all of our podcasts. In fact, I don't know if you knew that.
Well, good. I'm glad they can't be upset at me. They contacted me one time because I had Scooby-Doo .org or something, and they came after me as an attorney. But wasn't even damn a letter, because I owned I owned hundreds of domains, and it wasn't even like they were like sending me the form email. It was like I got a call, personal phone call. Wow. And they were like, and I had already read what they'd done to other people. I was like, hey, you can have the damn thing.
So you have a trait that a lot of Bitcoiners definitely have, where you have an affinity for collecting things. It sounds like domain names.
I had a lot. I had 800 at one time.
Whoa.
Matter of fact, now if you look up almost any sport in the word podcast singular plural, or pod or pods, I probably own it.
Really?
Unless I've sold it. Because back when I started, you could get any sport there was. I mean, I got bowling podcasts, golf podcasts, tennis podcasts, racing podcast. I mean, I don't even know which ones I have. I have hundreds of them. And I just sold football podcasts not that long ago. I thought it was gonna be a football team, but it was a soccer team, which I guess is football. I call it the devil's sport.
Proper
personally.
football.
It's football, yes.
Yeah. So I sold that, and I've sold some weird ones that were. I've sold a lot over the years. I mean, I used to really buy them for that, but then I guess I bought all those sport ones because I thought they'd be worth something someday, but they weren't people's company names, so no one could really take them from me. I think I have Wall Street podcasts. I have a bunch with podcasts.
Very cool. And what have you collected any other things in the past? Things that you thought were like unique items before you got into Bitcoin?
Well, I used to collect sporting cards, baseball, football, basketball, and the autographs and stuff, but I've been selling those on eBay. I've done real well. I've got a lot of extra Bitcoin by selling those. Now I'm selling all my shit and buying Bitcoin. Yeah. I think that's what everybody should do, is sell your shit and buy Bitcoin. And if you really like that shit, in 10 years, you can buy it back and still have a lot of Bitcoin.
You have one of my favorite YouTube shorts on the internet. I don't think it was something you produced. I think you just got caught on the street. And, and they're asking you, what's your advice? What's your advice for investing in crypto? And you're like, just DCA, buy Bitcoin, sit on it for 10 years. I don't care how much it is. Sell your Coke, sell everything. It was fantastic.
I was just coming out of. I was in Austin coming out of the JW Marriott, and these two kids came up to me, and I think I was going to a party Stefan Rivera was having. And it was like maybe 5 or 6 blocks away. So I was trying to figure it out on my phone, the walking directions. Because sometimes those walking directions, you got to start walking to see where the arrow's pointing.
It's
or
true.
I do, see which way to go. And I said, hey, they said, hey, we're doing a school project asking businessmen a question. And I said, okay. And I think they just were taking a guess, I assume. I don't assume they knew who I was. And I said, I'll talk to you if you walk with me. And so we're walking down the street and they said, what are you doing? I said, well, I have a Bitcoin conference. That's my main thing I do. And then I guess that really hit their day because I could have been a plumber. And they said, well, tell us about Bitcoin. And I gave them sound advice, luckily. And then it goes up and it turns out they didn't completely lie to me because their website was School of Hard Knocks. So it was a school project. I assume they were UTA students, University of Texas students, UT students. And then they just decided to add to it crypto multimillionaire ask questions. They just added that on their own. So because it's not like I'm walking down the street and I said, what are you doing? I said, oh shit, I'm a crypto multimillionaire who has a Bitcoin conference. So I actually contacted them and said, hey, I'm cool with you putting this on because it's, you asked me and I said, yeah, and I'm happy with what I said, but can you take the crypto multimillionaire off and just put Bitcoiner, and they never replied, and no matter how, so I'm stuck with it. But I think that I haven't seen it yet because I don't have TikTok and I don't care to look at it. But my wife watched it and she watched. Go ahead.
That's it. There was also a BlockFi ad at the bottom of that.
You didn't notice I had a Celsius shirt on. You didn't it's funny. I was at a conference in Orlando or something, Tampa Bay last year, I think. No, the beginning of this year. Take it back. See, that Alzheimer's getting to me. I can't remember what dates anymore. And my wife found this. I wish I knew where it was at. I got it in here. I'm going to burn it. Got this white hat and it says HODL in pink. And under it said Celsius.
Oh, no.
And they were giving away T-shirts. They had so much stuff they were giving away. And she got that hat. She got 2 of them. And she goes, I got one for you. I'm not wearing that hat. And this was back in February of this year, I think. I said, I'm not wearing that hat. And so now they're bankrupt. So I went in her closet and got it and brought it up here because I'm going to burn it on the grill or something and video it.
No, hold on to that.
See what else I might have to film with it.
That's a collector's item, yeah. Gary. Hold on to that. You got more from Celsius than most of their customers will.
Oh, that is true. I really took advantage of them.
Correct.
Yeah, I know some people that lost money with them. And the guy who put on that conference did. The guy put on that conference did because he accepted his payment and kept it on Celsius.
Ooh. Ouch.
So I'm curious. I think you were one of the first. I remember the conference from 2020, seeing people post about going to the conference and how, there was no shitcoinery there. And, people were even bragging about how they didn't have to wear masks at the conference. This is like in the middle of the hellstorm of whatever the government was telling us, right? I'm curious what drove that. Like, how did it get to that point where you were so extreme about not allowing that stuff once, everybody else buckles underneath the ad money pressure?
Well, I had done a big conference. My last conference, as I said, was Podcast Movement, and that got up to 3,500 people before COVID. I sold right before COVID, like 4 months before COVID, and now I think the last one they did had 1,000 people. So I sold at the right time. So I wanted to do, when I did this conference, I wanted to do the kind of conference I wanted to go to, basically. And I don't care about shitcoins, so, and actually the first one, it wasn't as strict as it is now, but I was talking to Safe. We had the Bitcoin brunch on Sunday and there were like 10 of us there. I have the picture of the 10 of us that went to Bitcoin brunch the first year. Now it'll be like 150 this year, just on the Sunday brunch, 600 people at the conference. And I was talking to Safe and he said, I think this you can claim that you have the first Bitcoin only conference in North America. I said, really? And I thought about it when I got home. I said, well, gosh, that's what I should be really trying to have. I wasn't, it was turning out to be one, but it wasn't like I had that direction written down. You know, it wasn't like I was hardcore. That's what it was going to be. But after that, I said, yeah, that's what it needs to be. And I need to be hardcore about it and make it Bitcoin only. And yeah, you know, it would grow just like your podcast. If I was a crypto conference, oh my gosh, I could have all kinds of sponsors that I can't have. You know, I returned $10,000 to somebody 2 weeks ago, you know, in the space, which that's all I'll say about that. But, you know, I really try to have some integrity with it as to who's there and what's that. I'm not just taking anyone's money that will send money, you know. So but it happened really by accident. But on the mass deal, you know, that the fact that we held our conference during COVID, we now have the longest running Bitcoin conference on the planet, you know, because the longest running, not the oldest, but the longest running. And I remember, I don't know if I've told the story before, but I came out during the middle of the day out of we were having a break, and I ran out to get some water or something before I had to bring on the next speaker. And the hotel people said, Gary, I need to talk to you really bad. I said, okay, well, what do you need? I said, no, we have to go in this room. I'm like, well, I only got like 5 minutes. So we go in the room, and there's 2 or 3 other people waiting in this room in there to talk to me. So it's me and maybe it was 3 people total. I can't remember now. That said Alzheimer's.
See Alzheimer's, yeah.
Yeah. And they said, your people are all walking around with cups of water and coffee. Like, that means they don't have to wear masks because they're drinking coffee and water. And we know what they're doing. I said, okay. And I said, your people need to wear masks or we're going to have to call the cops. I said, well, I know I may be old enough to be their daddy, but I'm not, you know, so I really can't do that much about it. They said, well, we're going to have to go call the cops. I said, well, you may want to call them then because they will love that shit. They will just be all over that. That'll make this their day. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, oh, man, they'll be filming that. They'll all be taking their masks. The ones wearing masks will even take them off just to get arrested. This will be the biggest lockup that Dallas has ever seen. And they said, oh. And I said, well, I got to go. Do whatever you got to do. And they left the conference area and never came back again back there to help people put their masks on. So I guess that they gave up. So that was kind of funny. But, that would have made some good press. I would have really gotten a lot of good press out of that.
Well, I know you got a lot of good press out of Bitcoiners who are acting there. You were the first.
Greg with the segues tonight.
You were the first public Bitcoin event where people could just, you know, be in person again. It was either during or right after lockdown. So I mean, everybody.
Well, we didn't shut up. We didn't stop for lockdown. So you know, that's what really put BitBlock Boom on the map. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it, but BitBlock Boom was doing okay ticket sales, and it was going to be bigger than it had been. But then all of a sudden, like 2 months, maybe in beginning of July, people were like going, "Is this conference happening?" And I go, "Yeah." And they'd buy tickets. Like I'd be on something talking about it, and they say, "This is a Bitcoin conference and it's happening." And they hadn't been to a conference all year. So usually I think by August, people were going, I've been to enough conferences. Who wants to go to Texas in August? But they hadn't been to a conference the entire year. So they're going, I don't care where in the hell it's at. It's a conference. I hadn't been to one all year. And they were signing up. Like I'd get off a podcast and 10 people had signed up, you know? So I think once they came, they found out how good it was. And then it's grown.
That's usually how it works.
Since. Yeah. But at
first.
COVID, blocking up all the conferences made people have one conference they could go to the rest of the year, and that was mine. And so that's what really helped out the conference a lot. I think Bitcoin really helped us, COVID really helped us out a lot.
Yeah, man, you had all these people coming. Sounds like it's a wonderful event.
Why is it called BitBlock Boom?
Talking about this year, I see Cynthia Loomis, Jack Mallers, so many people, Jeff Booth, Jimmy Song, Matt Odell. What are you most I don't know.
Low on Red Bull, excited.
Happy
question?
about like what are you waiting to see like more? What are you excited about more?
Well, if you say more, you have to give them options.
Are who am I excited? Yeah.
Excited the most to see.
Yellow needs an injection of Red Bull.
You know, well, you know, I've seen everybody there quite a few times. Be the first time I've met Jeff Booth, so I'm kind of excited about him. I think I know everybody else pretty well. So it's kind of like, it's to me, it's kind of like a family reunion or friend reunion because I know everybody there, for the most part. I haven't met, but he had posted last year. He wished he could speak there. So I hit him up, said, hey, you still want to speak? And he said, yeah. And whoever it was asking the name of the conference, where the name came from, someone threw some names in a generator, I think Bitcoin, blockchain and stuff. And it came out. Block Boom was one of the names it came out with. And I said, I like that because I like double. My last website that was really big. I had a website in Time Magazine's 50 coolest websites in 2006, and it was Podcast Pickle. So I love double alliteration. So triple was like, oh my gosh, that's great. I'll definitely go for that. That's the name thing. But on the thing, we've got something really fun this year, though. I think we're doing. Now, everybody loved the casino night last year. After it was over, we had a big casino night and big prizes they could win. It was just a lot of fun. People got drunk and had a lot of fun. But have you ever seen this pole that carnies have that you hang on? Have anyone seen this hanging pole?
Where you have to hang on it for like 90 seconds or something, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's like impossible to do. So I've bought this setup for a hang. I went to Celsius. What's that conference that's in Austin? Not
yours.
It's BitBlock Boom.
The one that's in Austin in February or earlier this year, the Shitcoin conference.
I don't know. We don't
know about shitcoins.
Yeah.
We're Bitcoin only over here.
Jimmy invited me down and we went down and signed that book.
Big rug pool.
It's a huge conference. Anyway, I was walking the aisles thinking, okay, this is a shitcoin conference, so they do have some Bitcoin stuff. Maybe I can find a vendor that would, I couldn't find any vendors I could ask to be at my conference. Oof. But I did see this one vendor that had this pole thing that you hang on. And oh my gosh, there were hundreds of people around his booth just watching people hang on this pole or try to hang on this pole. So I made one basically, and that's going to be fun to watch people try to hang on this pole to win 100,000 sats.
Now, Gary, I gotta ask, since Alzheimer's is in play here. Wait. Are you sure that you saw that pole at a convention?
You guys can't ask two questions at the same time.
Yes, it was a pole at a convention.
Okay, just making sure.
When it wasn't the kind of convention your damn dirty mind's thinking of either.
What kind of pole is it? Is it horizontal or?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's horizontal.
It's not vertical.
No, it's not. Get your mind out of the gutter, dude.
Yes, John.
I had to ask.
It's a bar. It's a bar.
Yeah, so
how many pull-ups do you do?
How many pull-ups can I do?
None.
Yeah, all of them. All of them.
But I can do the Asian squat for 4 minutes.
Oh.
So can you do the Asian squat for 4 minutes?
Like the sumo deadlift? Is that what it is, or what?
No,
is
it?
It's actually just like it sounds. It's have you ever seen a movie with a bunch of Vietnamese or
Sounds
Asians
kinky.
in it sitting around a fire? They're all sitting there squatting on their haunches. Just squatting instead of sitting in chairs. It's hard for people to do because we're so used to sitting in chairs.
It's squatting with noodles.
See, I thought it was
you
when
could eat noodles while you were squatting.
I see what you're saying.
So it's hard for me. I just started doing it like a month ago. I was at I could only do it like 15 seconds because it really burns your legs up and stuff. I saw this guy on YouTube talking about it because that's all I watch is YouTube. And I'm sitting on my couch watching YouTube and he's talking about the Asian squat. I don't know what the hell this is. I said, well, I've been wanting to start an exercise and that sounds like a good one. I'm just sitting there. That sounds like a good exercise to start with, just sitting there.
Okay.
We call it the slab squat here.
Yes.
Slab one.
Yeah.
So paint this picture for me. You're sitting on the couch. What are you drinking? You got a Coke?
Water.
Water. Drinking Coke. You just finished dinner, hanging out with the wife. What are you doing?
When I was watching the Asian squat video.
Exactly.
No, it was in the morning. Actually, it was in the morning, probably at about 6:30, and I was drinking a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Probably. And
that's brave.
Drinking a cup of coffee.
You went into squats right after coffee?
No, I didn't do it that day. I started the next day.
Okay, good.
But I drink 2 cups of coffee, and then I have to start a new thing and do my squats while I'm waiting on the next cup to make.
Nice.
So I do
Sean,
get in between coffees. because I have 4 cups of coffee in the morning.
That's a
You know,
that's
I
a
heard
solid
it's good
amount.
for you. Yeah, I heard it's good for you.
Yeah.
Seems to be working for me. I mean, you know, I'm the only person I know my age that doesn't have high blood pressure or take any medicine at all. So
It's
I
got to
think
be the
working.
coffee.
Yeah.
It,
It
it's
just
what
pumps me up
that's
so much that when I'm not drinking a lot of coffee and I go to the doctor, it's like way down there.
that's what happens when you're maximalist. No blip.
No blip. So I want to make sure it seems like a good time to have Labrahaddle give us the current score of the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scores. So yeah, Gary, we have a score every
System.
episode. So yeah, I'm going to read them. We have pretty good scores today. So Greg, you got a helmet, just like the one that I have, but it's pink,
Nice.
like your shirt. Yeah, so it
Okay.
matches.
Okay.
Becca, you got a smaller TV. Okay,
Thank you.
because it's too big. Yeah.
I know.
Sean, because you play basketball, you got 2 goals. Pedro, for you, it's a new alt account with a new password. Rusty, Rusty, you got a stimulus check in Zimbabwe pesos. RD, you got the PI number, but I'm not going to read it today. I will send you on a DM. I will send him a DM.
Perfect.
Marcus, you
Thanks.
got a beer with no alcohol because you're a kid, obviously.
Perfect.
Yellow, you got an MP3 player with the Don't Stop Believing in loop forever.
Thanks.
And Gary, last but not least, I think this is the best score that we ever had. It's a framed meme factory ad read.
That's the first physical score.
I will.
Ever got read.
I will. Wow. I will accept that with honor.
Cherish it.
Gary, I have a serious question. Like, a lot of new people coming in are always looking like at conferences and what's going on in space, and they're thinking like, oh, all these OGs have been around for so long, and back then everything was completely different. Like, what is your take on it? Like, if you look at your conference specifically, like, has it changed throughout the years? Is the sentiment different? Where are we at according to you?
Well, I guess my conference has changed. I mean, it probably changes some every year, hopefully for the better. That's my goal, but it's still the same basic thing. Just a bunch of people talking about Bitcoin. I think from the get-go, people have liked my conference because, you know, my conference isn't like sitting in chairs watching people on a stage all day, and then when it's over, they exit out the back door, and a new guy comes in the back door and talks, and then exits out the back door. You know, my conference is going to be someone sitting in the audience like Saifedean, and when his time, he comes out the audience and talks, and he goes back and sits back in the audience. Or you go to the party at night. Instead of some days, we don't have, like one day, we don't have anything going on that's conference wise. You know, it's just a big party that night. And people are standing at the party or hanging out or eating, and they look over there, and there's, you know, somebody, Senator Lummis is standing over there having a drink, you know, or something, talking to some people, and they can go over and say hi. And people, and really, I hear new people who tell me a lot of times they go there, and then I'll meet them next thing and said, I just thought it was so great. I was sitting there and I looked over there and there was Jimmy Song and I'll name 2 or 3 people. And I went over and I stood by him at first. And I didn't want to say anything. I was kind of scared. And then I said, hey, and they said, well, who are you? And then they invited me in the conversation. I thought that was so cool. And so I hear that a lot. So that part of it's still the same. The people that attend aren't just running in and out of the back door, and we're not bringing them in on Zoom. You know, like Sailor said, hey, I'll come on. I'd asked them, but I got to Zoom. I said, well, you can come on. They can watch you on damn YouTube everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to have them come all the way to damn Texas to watch YouTube. I mean, which is for the most part what it's like. So
you denied him basically.
Tell him to
Correct.
transport his monetary energy self over to Austin, right?
I agree. He's
the cost of a nickel.
But he has a good reason though. So which I won't get into, but it's just bad timing for him, I guess, more or less.
Fair enough.
But that part is the same no matter what, that you go and you get to hang out. And then I have an awful lot of people that come up to me and tell me they got their dream job at BitBlock Boom. You know, they're working now in the Bitcoin field, doing whether they're an accountant or a salesperson or whatever. They found somebody who knew somebody while they were there, and now for a living, they work in the Bitcoin field. So I hear a lot of that too. So that's kind of good to hear.
All right, so all we need to do is come, and then we'll get jobs in the Bitcoin field.
There's a chance.
All right.
Nice, Greg.
Better chance you'll get one if you came than if you don't come.
That's right.
How's that?
It's good as gold, Gary. I'm taking that to the bank. I'm gonna get myself a Bitcoin job at Bitcoin Block.
I have a lot of people tell me that. I mean, that they got their dream job there. That's exact like Cam, who works for see the old
nope.
Unchained. Works for Unchained Capital.
Unchained Capital, great.
Yeah, Cam. And he actually wrote me a letter I have around here. He was so happy.
I didn't know he could write.
Yeah, he can write. I don't even think he uses his feet. I think he uses his hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job, Cam.
So actually, like I said, that was kind of impressive. He sent me a letter. I don't get a lot of letters anymore. I get a lot of emails. Got a lot of emails recently about
Gary, when you were first putting together this conference, how did you even go about putting it together? Like
actually it was kind of hard to put the first one together. I mean, like I said, I had done a conference, so I had some experience, but really in the other conference I'd done, I was kind of like the face, even though it's an ugly face. I knew everybody, and my three partners, there were four of us, they did most of the work. And after 2 years, I just came and got a fourth of the booty, and by that I mean money. I know where your face was going, Greg. I know your brain's going.
I'm doing everything I can not to say a word.
Yeah, I know where your brain's going. So when I came in, it was really hard, though. I had only been in Bitcoin. I hadn't been in Bitcoin that long, and I didn't know a lot of people. But Stefadine said he'd come. Pierre Richard said he'd come. Michael Goldstein said he'd come. So I had all these people coming in, and when it came like 3 weeks before the conference, I only had like 20 tickets sold. So I mean, I was out every night trying to sell tickets, giving away tickets. I just at that point had to fill up the space. Because I had a really good price on the space, and I had a couple of sponsors. So my goal was to break even. I felt like at that point, and I said that when I started my other conference, Podcast Movement. If you break even the first year, you've been a successful conference if you can break even. And I was able to break even. And like I said, though, but 3 weeks before the conference, I didn't want these guys all showing up, and I got 10 people sitting there, and they're going, "Wow, thanks for flying me in. This was a great conference." Yeah, right. We're gonna tell people not to come here, but evidently I had enough because they all enjoyed it, and people said great things, and then the next year it grew, and the next year it grew, and blah blah blah. Have you seen one of these? One of these things?
What, just a like a card reader for payments?
No, it's like a printer. It's a Azteca. For selling Bitcoin on Azteca with Azteca.
Azteco, yeah, I know them.
Oh, yeah, the Azteco. Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you want to shout out any of your Bitcoin only sponsors, do it.
Yeah, well, I have to shout out Unchained Capital. They've been my platinum sponsor for this might be their fourth year. I can't remember if it's the third or fourth. And this year we have Riot for the first time and Crowd Health for the first time. So I'd like to thank all three of them. They've been great. And we have Jack with Strike. They're the casino night sponsor this year. We have Coinbits. We have a lot of sponsors. I mean, a lot of good sponsors. I'd have to pull it up on the website to see them all. But if anyone goes to bitblockboom.com and just scroll down the page, they're all at the bottom of the page, right on the front page. But we have a good lineup of sponsors this year. Something about going to Austin really helped that out, though. Because every year, I tell you, that's one thing. Every year I've humped my ass off trying to get sponsors. And when I went down to Austin, all of a sudden they were coming out the woodwork, because people can just buy sponsorships on the website. I'm too lazy to go through all this. Let me send you some cover sheet about it and let's talk. And I'm going to send you some kind of invoice you can pay. Hell, just if you see it, buy it, just like you would a damn pair of shoes. Just buy the damn thing. And if you have to have an invoice for your company, let me know and I'll make one up for you. I think like 2 or 3 people have to have an invoice out of all the sponsors. So, but yeah, the sponsorships, they just filled up this year. So like I said, Austin was a good move for us because we were in North Dallas, actually a suburb called Addison. And whenever I travel anywhere in the country and I tell people from Texas, they almost always inevitably say, I really want to go to Austin. I really want to go to Austin. I've never had anyone say, I really want to go to Addison. I really want to go to Addison, Texas. No one ever said that. So maybe that's why we weren't doing so good in Addison. People who came liked it, but not everybody wanted to come. Even though it costs a lot more to get to Austin by plane because there's no direct flights hardly there. But people seem to love Austin from the way ticket sales are going. So I think last year we did maybe 270 tickets. I'm just taking a guess. I don't have the numbers. You know, this all timers. It could be a 50 tickets I had. I'm just guessing. But now we're at over 600 tickets for this year. So I'm pretty excited about it.
And you're now just entering into the phase where you should be selling most of the tickets, right? It's usually closer to the conference.
They come in bigger batches. It's funny, in August when it gets the most expensive, the most people buy them. You know, but at the conference though, I have always done this. I saw someone do this at the conference and I really liked it. During the conference at like noon on Saturday, I announce a discount, a website, a link. We give out a link. And if people go buy their conference tickets right then, it's like over half price. It's like a third of the price what they are now. Actually, some of the tickets people bought are cheaper than I'm paying for the parties. You know, I'm actually losing money on their tickets because I didn't know how high Austin would be. So that's my fault. But actually, we give a super duper price for 24 hours to the people who are there. And then they have till June the next year to cancel, you know, for a full refund. So, I mean, they'd almost be stupid not to go, oh, because I've never had anyone leave and said, this conference sucked and never come back again. So they'd have to be stupid not to buy a ticket, you know, say, well, let me go ahead and buy it unless they just don't have any money. And then they are they did a bad job of hodling if that's the case. So most people, or a high percentage of the people come Monday morning. I have a lot of tickets sold already, you know, so to a degree, the people later are kind of like subsidizing the tickets that were sold at the event, you know, because they got them so cheap. So I'm really not making any money off those guys for the most part.
How has the conference changed over the last 5 years? What are the step functions?
Didn't we already go over that?
You talked about moving from Addison to Austin, but I'm talking more about the way that you put it. Not the chairs, the way that you put it on. So like you originally.
Are there still chairs there? Does the conference still have?
I don't make them squat. They don't have to squat.
The lights and stuff.
Not yet.
The lights.
Right. We used to have tables, you know, round tables with chairs so everybody can network at the tables, but we kind of outgrew that. We had to get rid of the tables. They're just better events going on. I mean, really, the casino night was a great addition. People really, it's kind of funny. I always tell this story, and it's nothing against Tone. I love Tone, but I walked into the casino night, and Tone's a gambler. Everybody knows Tone gambles. He has his conference in Vegas and has a real casino, a real poker night there. And I walk in, and one of the first people I talk to is Tone. He's got maybe, I don't know, $20,000-$30,000 in chips, and he is really excited. Look, Gary, I'm already up $30,000, whatever that was. Well, great. You can't do anything with that $30,000, but he was really excited about winning it. And that is just an example of how people are about the casino night. I mean, you know, they got the bar there, they get free drinks, and they're winning the casino. I mean, they really are having a good time. That was a big. I'd say it's more fun, to be honest with you.
So it's the events surrounding the event.
It's the networking of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I never go to a conference and watch speakers.
No.
You know, my wife used to give me a hard time because she'd hear me saying I just hang out in the hallway. She goes, "You flew all the way to Baltimore, go to a conference, and you just hung out in the hallway all damn day." And I said, that's pretty much it. And she'd get real mad at me for wasting a lot of money. But I'm not a person who likes to go sit at a conference like in Miami. Michael Saylor was talking not last year, year before. I was out at the Swan Dome, and everybody was going in to see Michael. Next morning, I got up. Well, I got out of the shower. I watched Michael on YouTube.
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't have to go rushing in there. So I wasn't into rushing in there even when there wasn't YouTube. Now that there is YouTube, I see no reason to go watch a speaker personally. So this has been built up around the fact that the speakers are there and I have good ones. But the fact you have the opportunity to hang out with them is more of a deal than watching them, because you can watch them later, because I put it all out. I stream it live, first of all, and then I put them all out as episodes on YouTube and this podcast. So I think that's the thing. Another thing, because of my feelings about sessions, my sessions are 25 minutes. That's how long they get to talk, where most people go for like 50 minutes or something. because whenever I would speak somewhere, I'd find I'd do my session, I'd practice it, and I was at like, man, it's like 35, 40 minutes. I got to add some more shit in here, you know? So I was adding stuff to get up to the point. And I think a lot of people do that. So next year I made it, first year I dropped it to 30 and everybody was fine with 30. No one complained in the audience. No speaker complained. They all got all their stuff in. So the next year I dropped it to 25 minutes. So then I could have 5 minutes Q&A and it would be every half hour on the clock, easier to like know the time. You didn't have to go, wait a second, is it 3:38? This 40, this one's starting 3:45. It's every half an hour. A new session starts that way. So it's 25 minutes of talking, 5-minute Q&A, next person comes out. So that's the deal. And it seems to work pretty good. So but that goes into my wanting to have a networking conference, not a, conference where you sit in chairs, and we do have chairs, but I really don't want people sitting in the chairs.
Seems like you rely on common sense to make a lot of decisions.
Yeah, I'm not a tester. I just do. I used to say that was my superpower a long time ago. I think like the average Joe.
Common sense.
All my guys. Yeah, all my guys would make this stuff. I say, here's what I want. I want this website. I used to have like 25 different websites, e-commerce websites. I was big in e-commerce. I started my first e-commerce site in 96. I tried in 95, but I couldn't build the shopping cart. So the next year I tried it again, and we finally, with the help from a friend, we got the shopping cart done. But I'd have all these guys doing coding for me and building my sites and stuff. And we would just build one site after another, selling stuff, and mostly drop shipping it. And they would build something. I'd say, how the hell do you use that? I mean, I'm pretty good at this damn thing, and I can't even figure out how to use this. And they'd be like, well, they can't figure out how to use it. They shouldn't be on our site. And I go, well, unfortunately, we want to make some money so we could pay your ass to be in that chair. So I always felt like that was, I would say my superpower was like seeing how things needed to be for the average guy to be able to figure it out, but now with Alzheimer's, I really have lost that superpower.
Before you lost the superpower, did you come up with a way to cut down your elevator speech on Bitcoin? What's your go-to pitch?
On trying to orange pill someone?
Elevator pitch. Somebody on the street asks you, why Bitcoin?
I do. Main thing I try to do, you can say whatever you want to say, but I try to get people to go over to, I use Swan, because I'm an investor in Swan. You could use anywhere. You could use whatever you want to use. But I try to get them into dollar cost averaging $5. That's been my number one goal that I try to do. I think that's more effective than all the talking you can talk to an elevator. If you can get them to say, hey, here's my link. Just remember this. You'll get $5 or $10 worth of Bitcoin free. And I want you to buy $5 or $10 worth a week. I know that's not going to break you. I'm usually talking to people. Usually if I'm in an elevator with someone that's asking me, it's someone of a little bit higher wealth than some kid that just got out of college. And they'll laugh. And I have better results with that. I had a guy, I talked into it. He was buying, just give me a couple of examples, like $100 a week. And within 2 months, he called me and says, I bought $100,000 through Unchained Capital. I had another friend, he was buying $10 a week. He called me 2 months later and said, hey, I just bought $20,000 worth. So I find that if you can get them to get some skin in the game, should be your goal. Yeah. They all kind of like have an idea what it is already. They've heard of it. It's not like it was, 8 years ago where nobody knows what it is, or like podcasting was 10 years ago when no one's heard of it. They all know it's something there and it has something to do with money, and they aren't going to remember a lot of what you say anyway. It's going to go over their head. Yeah. So they're going to walk out the elevator and go, I just don't even know what the hell he's talking about, even though he thought he was explaining well. So try to get him to go and get him to write that down. Say, hey, got a pen, write this down, go to this site and set up, start doing $5 a week, $5 a month, whatever you can afford. If you can get them dollar cost averaging, that's the deal. I mean, your odds of them continuing the dollar cost average, first of all, is great because they don't want to go to the trouble to get rid of it for that small amount of money. And number two, the chance they're going to get some information about it or be checking the price or watching because they're getting emails every time a purchase is made, it's staying freshened in their mind. The chance of them getting deeper in is more than your elevator pitch is ever going to do. So I think that should be your goal, is to get them buying not to get them knowing what it is and not buying. Because I've had people buy regular. I talked to a friend of mine back in 2017. It was about $3,000. Bought some. He bought, I don't know, $1,000 worth or something. And then I talked to him last year when it was going up to maybe it was 55,000 or something. He goes, I said, hey, have you been buying since that date still? And he goes, no, I hadn't bought any more. I said, he said, I hadn't even looked at it. He goes, oh my God, making some money. I said, yeah, you have. And so he started dollar cost averaging again. And then he's the one that jumped in and bought $20,000 worth a few months. But see, he bought more after he dollar cost averaged. Once he bought it the original time, he never bought it again. He bought it, it went up a lot, but he never looked at it. So he never did anything. So that's why I say getting him to buy is a lot better elevator pitch than having him know that it's an orange coin.
Okay. And
just in my humble opinion.
Well, you've obviously gotten some feedback about that doing better than previous methods, like hitting them with the technology pitch or the sound.
Well, like you said, that one was a perfect example. He bought it once, never bought it again. 5 years later, he buys 10 times as much, and he's still dollar cost averaging. So that's the same person. I
found similar success with that kind of approach.
Well, there you go.
What I just want to know
my double blind test right there.
Exactly. All right, so we have a Brit on the show. We love his voice, but he stays muted most of the time. He has one of the most important questions on the stream that we ask on a weekly basis. His name is RDBTC. He's a little shy, but RD, if you could, it's about that time.
I'll just get my notes.
Thank you.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, how are you doing?
Thanks for coming on, man. Yeah, this is my question. If the meme factory did exist, and we all know it doesn't, who would you like, who would you retweet, and who would you mute?
Well, I wouldn't have to mute a whole hell of a lot of y'all. You're pretty damn quiet, to be honest with you, for this big a group on here.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess I would retweet Becca, because I've always had women work for me. I believe women are great workers, and they get a lot accomplished. So using my past history, I live with all women. I coached all women in sports as my two daughters growing up, and all my employees were women. I had a few men here and there, but most part were women. So I would have to use my past experiences and say that the woman is probably going to have the best information.
That is sexist, Gary.
It's true, though. So
it is true. I think it is true.
Thank you.
I think women are great workers compared to men.
We're great sandwich.
I don't know how you guys, I don't understand this whole, women don't get paid as much. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. I think there must be more to it, because they do more work than most men. So, I mean, I don't understand how they couldn't get paid as much. I'm confused on all that, So.
Well, we're not getting paid at all today, so thanks for that.
Boom.
Gary, that was on you.
All right, so who do you got for the like, Gary?
Who I got for the what?
We've got a retweet for Becca. So now you got a like and a mute to assign.
Oh, a like and a mute. I think I'm gonna mute World of Rusty, because I hadn't heard him say anything. So.
That's fantastic.
That's great.
That's
He
fantastic.
hasn't put his hand up.
But he wouldn't get upset if I muted him.
Shut up, Rusty. You're muted.
He wouldn't even know I'm muted. Yeah. And retweeting, I guess.
Well, you retweeted Becca. Now we got to like somebody.
Oh, like somebody.
That Alzheimer's is really getting in there.
I'm gonna go with Sean.
Ooh.
Go.
Yay.
That's a good segue, because Sean's got something for you now too.
Yeah.
I do have something. So
I like the segue like that.
This has been the most segues we've ever had on the Meme Factory podcast, by the way.
We've never had a segue, so by far this is the most.
Yeah, it is by far. So Gary, 2024 is coming around the corner. That is the halving, Bitcoin's next halving.
Block height.
Block height will be 840,000 for those who may not know. I know you know, Gary. So we, as the Meme Factory, we're throwing the first ever having party, and it's gonna be in El Zante.
Well, the first one that y'all have had.
No, this is the first having party
Of the year, you mean, of this happening?
Did you ever go to a having party? One that was
No, but I've seen having parties.
Yeah, but like they've been like on YouTube, right?
With
No, they did in real life. They did in real life.
All right, get him off the stream now, so he's going to ruin everything.
We're changing the definition of having party.
The biggest having party. And it's gonna be
a guy named Fred, and his last name starts with a C, did a having party back in 2016.
Okay. Well, we're gonna do.
I know there was one.
We're gonna have the longest running one going. There wasn't a having party.
That's a good segue.
Is it in real life a having party or?
Yes, it's gonna be down in El Zante, El Salvador.
Oh, that'd be a good place for it.
Thank you. We are inviting you to come down. Bring your family.
I would probably come.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast because this gives a chance for people to actually come down to El Salvador. It's not going to be a Bitcoin conference. It's going to be a celebration of the halving. It's going to be a party, kind of like yours, where you get to network, a little bit more party than the BitBlock Boom.
Maybe a few more polls.
A few more polls.
Poker night.
Yeah, it's not the halving conference. It's the halving
party. The halving party. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I'm going to go buy that domain, havingparty.com.
You son of a bitch.
Jesus.
Get on that right now.
IT department.
Go get it.
So you're invited. Come down there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the pilgrimage down to El Salvador. If you haven't gone, if you already have.
I haven't gone, but I'm sure I'll have gone by then. I'm sure I would go back because everybody I run into that's been there has had a great time.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going down next month to scout out venues, and so we're gonna.
Well, you're really ahead of the game.
Yeah,
we're Bitcoiners.
There's a first mover's advantage, you know.
We're looking for a sponsor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus. All right, so you're invited, and now that we're best friends, you have to come.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you got to come now.
No, where'd that best friends come from?
It already happened. Just let it happen. We're best friends.
Yeah. I definitely probably will come. See, I definitely probably will.
Definitely probably.
I don't see why I wouldn't come. Let me put it that way. I mean, that's always a possibility that my kid's having a baby or something, I guess, but which I would not come.
Look, here's what we promise: no BlockFi ads.
None.
Can I wear my Celsius cap?
No shitcoin. We can burn that. We can burn it. Save one. Burn one of the big block loan this year, then save one for the having party to burn.
Oh, that's a good idea. Because I have two. One's been worn. The one for my wife was worn. The other one's never been worn.
We should have a bonfire. We should have a bonfire. People can burn their shitcoin stuff.
How about the birth? How about the birth happens in El Salvador and you don't lose 3 Bitcoin, future Bitcoin for the citizenship.
What?
Your granddaughter.
God damn it!
Your daughter has a kid down in El Salvador, and that way you don't have to pay 3 Bitcoin to become a citizen of El Salvador.
Got it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah.
The volcano sacrifices. We're gonna go up. Everybody can throw something in the volcano, whether it's a Celsius hat or unknown shitcoin.
Yes. That's a good idea. That's a real good idea.
So,
well, I don't think I'm going to get my daughter to come down to really go anywhere to have.
Never say never. Just tell her your new best friend invited you.
I saw that movie. I think.
I'm gonna message your daughter and tell her to come down too. So that way, it'll be a family event.
Keep your daughter away from Sean.
Keep your daughter away from Sean.
Guys, come on.
That's
not like that.
Very much take that seriously, Gary.
I'm not really taking it serious.
So,
I mean, you're gonna have to do a lot better than that to hurt my feelings or whatever.
Hardened maximalist over here.
That's like trying to make fun of my dead mother. I mean, it's not really gonna bother me. She's dead. I mean, you know.
Ooh,
I'm not touching that.
Sideways on us, guys. We should.
Is that another segue?
So, Gary, fuck. Gary is.
Maybe Rusty has a question.
We're coming to the end of the hour. You've been very gracious with your time. I want to make sure that you get a chance to. Is there a question that you wish we had asked you? And if so, how would you have answered that question?
Ooh.
I'm not going to say that's a good question because I hate it when people say that. But I have never been asked that question, before, and I've been on a lot of interviews in the past 20 years or so.
Good question, Greg.
No, I'm not going to say that.
He's not going to say that.
Yeah, I never say. I hate every time you see something. Oh, good question, and he goes, "That was a stupid fucking question." they just do that as I am to give themselves time to think of an answer.
Think about the answer, right?
Yeah. See, I just try to talk and say something.
So you had that prepared to give yourself time to think.
Yes, well, I didn't have it prepared, but I'm pretty good at listening off the top of my head. I wish you had asked me where people should go to buy tickets for BitBlock Boom, and is that there is a discount code they could use.
Oh, what a great question. Could you answer that for us?
Yeah, sure. They can go to bitblockboom.com.
In the show notes.
And if they use the code Gary, they can get 10% off.
I'll put that in the show notes as well. Rusty, do you have a question?
I was gonna ask, where can you go and buy Big Block Boom tickets?
Oh, I can answer that.
Okay.
Bitblockboom.com.
Perfect.
Oh, right behind me here. Right behind me here. If you're watching by any chance.
What was that? Could you repeat that? I couldn't hear it.
Is this only audio as it goes out, or is this?
No, this goes out video. Yeah.
Then they can just look right behind me and see the link.
There it is.
BitBlock Boom.
Is this live?
All right. I'm going to wrap this up, Artie. Yes, it's live.
Hey, am I the oldest person you've had on this show?
How old are you?
767.
767 years old?
Yeah.
767.
Oh,
67.
Then yes.
Cool.
Wait. Is he the oldest?
I'm not sure. The British guy.
Ooh.
He didn't impress you very much.
Bitcoin grandmama.
Yeah, Bitcoin granny.
Bitcoin granny.
Bitcoin granny.
It's gotta be tight. It's gotta be close between Bitcoin granny.
How old is Bitcoin is Bob Burnett?
I'm older than Bob.
You're older than Bob?
Yeah, he's like 62 or something, 63.
How old is Sailor?
Sailor's
76.
He's in his 50s.
50s.
Yeah. I don't know his age, but I don't think he's even 60.
All right. Well, Gary, thank you for coming on and being so generous with your time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Actually, this was fun. My wife goes, "Why are you doing a show this damn late in the evening?"
It's when it
late,
happens.
7:30. I said, "I don't know. That's when they do it, I guess." I don't even remember setting it up, to be honest with you. It's not my calendar.
Pretty late here.
Look at my calendar, and if you hadn't texted me today or messaged me, DM me, I wouldn't be here. So I'm glad you DM'd me.
The invite is never on the calendar. Sean knows that.
Well, at least ways we made it work.
Heck yeah.
And I'm really disappointed I won't meet any of y'all, I assume, at BitBlock Room. I'm really disappointed. I mean,
Never say never, Gary.
Never say
that's
never.
right. I heard that recently. I heard that.
Never say never.
An echo. It's like an echo chamber in here. And tell me when we're doing the El Zante deal, and don't tell me like a week before, dude.
Okay. A couple days before.
Block
Yeah,
height,
that would be better,
840,000.
Just check your trash folder.
Or your fax machine.
I don't have one of those. I'm not.
It's too new.
That's not into the fax machine.
Morse code.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stack those sets. You go to Big Block.
Adios.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.